Hello, folks. It's Sean Mize here, and we're kind of getting ready to wrap up the offer and conversion training. And so I've named this final notes on offer and conversion training, and really just want to wrap up everything that I've taught you over the course of the last lessons. We've gone through a lot. Um, I've taught you how to create your story for your offer and conversion uh, process. I've taught you how to create not just one product, but how to create multiple products, how to branch those off of that single first product. I've taught you how to create an email campaign that connects so that you're able to sell that product using your story. And then I've given you several selling methods. So you can use a sales letter, a teleseminar, a webinar, et cetera, et cetera. The next steps for you are execution, testing and tracking, adding a coaching program, and connecting with people. So what I want to do is kind of go back and review what we've done. Okay, so in creating your story, what you allow yourself to do is dig in at a deeper level to how you're going to connect with the people that are going to buy from you. Because here's the truth of the matter is that unless you're in some brand new niche or some brand new area that's frankly untested, you are probably competing with other people who have similar training to yours. And so how are you going to stand out? Now, one way to stand out is to have the absolute best training on your topic. That's one way to stand out. Okay, and then if you have the absolute best training on your product, well, then you can literally just stand on that. Hey, I have the best product out there. But, let's face it. Let's say there's 50 people that are competing with you. Okay, it's an admirable goal to say, I want to have the very, very best product. And in fact, one of the things, if you work with me very much, that I teach you that you can have the very best product. But I don't like to consider that to just be a given. Even if you have the very best product, how do people know that you have the best product for them other than you telling them, I have the best product? And hey, let's face it, most of your competitors might be saying, I have the best training. How do people really connect with you? And I believe that the way that you do that is through a story. And obviously, in this offer and conversion training, I've given you an incredible method for building out your story, and then everything that you do fits into that story. Your email campaign fits in the story, your sales letter fits into the story, your teleseminar, your webinar, whatever you do, it all fits into that story, and that allows you to connect with people. You see, what you want is when someone goes to buy training on your topic, that the only person they'll buy from is you at any price. It takes price away. Think about yourself. Are there some people in the marketplace that, as long as you can afford it, you would rather do business with that person than any of 50 other people? And that could be 3 different people in 3 different areas of training. That's what you want for your prospects to say, I want to do business with you and only you. Okay, so now that you have all of these things in place, the next few steps are, and I've already kind of illuminated them. The first one's execution. You got to do it. We can talk about story all day long. We can talk about recording 10 hours of audio all day long. And I've continued to hammer this idea that how long does it take to record 10 hours of audio? 10 hours. I know this from experience because in the past, when I've created CD programs, many times I've literally recorded for 3 hours a day for 3 or 4 days in a row to create 9 to 12 hours of training. And then the 5th day, I upload those MP3s to either a download page, or when I was doing physical CDs, send them over to my CD guy. I know from experience that it takes 10 hours to record 10 hours worth of audio. Okay? The problem is that sometimes it takes people 6 months to do it. And the question is why? And obviously the reason's different for everybody. Okay, so you know what your reason is. And maybe for you, you have a totally legitimate reason. I'm going to I would just want to share with you what sometimes happens to people is they'll say, I don't have 10 hours. But if I dig and I ask them, what did you do yesterday? They'll tell me that they spent an hour answering emails, an hour watching YouTube to learn how to do something new, an hour thinking about buying something. How about the day before? They watched an hour TV show, they spent an hour reading emails, and they spent an hour doing something else. The truth of the matter is that if they'd have just done nothing for the last 2 days, except record, they would have 6 hours of a product ready to sell. It shouldn't take you 6 months to create your product. Okay, we've talked about this idea that if you create a 10-hour product, you can excerpt 3 20-minute segments from that to create your 1-hour product. So you have an intro 1-hour product, then you have a 10-hour product, then you have a coaching program. And remember, we've talked about this idea of a coaching program. Okay, that's point number 3 here. We've talked about this idea, folks, of adding a coaching program. How easy is it to add a coaching program? Very easy. You just have to sign up a client because coaching is live. I do my coaching live. Now, obviously, I have lessons that go along with that, but those lessons were created live for the first original live cohort of clients. Okay, so the very first people that I deliver coaching to, it's live. It means you don't have to create any lessons before you add your first coaching client. The next piece, and this is 2 on here, this next piece that's important is testing and tracking. You must know if a page is converting or not. You have to know. You have to know, does a sales page, if a sales page got 200 visits, how many people bought? I use Visual Website Optimizer for that. That's Visual Website Optimizer. Okay. You also should know where your traffic's coming from. You can use Google Analytics for that. Okay. I personally use Kissmetrics. The reason I use Kissmetrics instead of Google Analytics, the biggest reason is that I have multiple sites and I track conversions between sites. So like I might have an opt-in page on one site and then I have a sales page on a different site and the download on a different site. You can't, to the best of my knowledge, Google Analytics, you can't do that. You can't get cross-domain tracking except for maybe in the higher priced package. Okay, with Kissmetrics you can, and so I use Kissmetrics for kind of basic tracking. And the final thing that you have to do is you've got to connect with people. Now notice I'm not talking about driving traffic, I'm talking about connecting people. You know, I want to give you an example of the difference. Let's say I wanted to drive blog traffic. So I go, okay, how am I going to get 1,000 people from somebody else's blog to mine? That would be traffic, 1,000 blog traffic units. Okay, the 1,000 visitors. But if nobody buys, if nobody opts in, even if some people opt in but they don't really care, does it matter? I'd rather have 10 humans that really want what I have come talk to me and send me a personalized email than to have 1,000 people read an article. Okay, and so I'm not going to dig into this here. I don't think that I need to. I mean, obviously, if you're in my coaching program, hopefully you're asking some questions. We're working on your traffic, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, but with traffic, you really got to focus on people, not the numbers. Now, once you master getting the people there, you can multiply that and say, how can I get more and more and more people? Okay. So I want to do now a wrap up of everything we've talked about. You have the key pieces to creating your offer and to creating your product and to selling it. Okay. Obviously, you need to implement these pieces. You need to implement it. You need to put testing and tracking into place. You need a coaching program. And you got to connect with people. Okay. Things that influence success in information marketing is understanding your target market. You've got to find out what those people want so that you can provide it to them in the story, so that you can know that you're talking to the right people for your story. Okay? You need to, once you know what your target market needs, then you're going to meet the target market needs. Okay? I'm a big believer in value over opportunity. Okay? Just because you can make $1 selling something doesn't mean you should be selling it. What I believe that you should be doing is selling things that are really going to help people and really going to change people's lives. Okay? And then the final thing that you need is you must have a selling system. You must have an opt-in page that leads to a predictable number of people opting in, leads to a predictable number of people going through your email campaign, has emails that have predictable responses. People respond to those emails and buy your first product, your second product, your coaching program, and so on. Your next steps, you got to add a coaching program. My experience is you generally double your revenue from selling 2 products if you add a coaching program. Why? Because people want coaching. They don't just want your download. Okay? And the second thing is I recommend that you consider finding a coach, because no matter how much training you get, no matter how much you download, no matter how much you educate yourself, if there's a gap between your knowledge and actually implementing it, I believe you need a coach. You need somebody that's going to take you by the hand and say, okay, this is the piece to tweak. This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're missing. Okay, you need somebody to work with. And I'm not saying me. I'm saying find somebody. Find somebody that's doing what you want to do, somebody that you can connect with, and connect with them. Hire a coach. Folks, that's it. That wraps up things for offer and conversion. You have the training now. The next step is to do the work. Execute, test and track, add a coaching program, connect with people, and consider finding a coach.